All right, so 14.7, solving equations using the zero product rule. All right, so our sometimes called zero factor rule, but zero product rule. If A times B is equal to zero, then A is equal to zero, B is equal to zero, or both. All right, so let's see what that means. All right, so if we have x minus 4 times x plus 3 equal to 0, and notice it's called the zero product rule. So one side has to be equal to 0 in order for you to use this principle or this rule. So that's the first thing. We do want to make sure one side is set equal to 0. And if we have this setup, notice our quantities have been factored as much as possible, just x minus 4 times x plus 3. I will take each quantity and set it equal to 0, and then solve. So we'll add 4 to both sides. Here, subtract 3 from both sides. Solution is 4 and negative 3, so we get 2 solutions. And that's how you would solve using the zero product rule. Zero product rule. All right. Any problems with that before we look at another one? All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Here, if I have x times 3x minus 7 equal to 0, same type of deal. Take the x, set it equal to 0. Take 3x minus 7, set that equal to 0 as well. So x equal to 0 is a solution itself. And then in the next one, we'll add 7 to both sides. Then divide by 3. X is equal to 7/3. All right. So notice, what you will notice is that what we're going to do is have an expression, and we're going to have to break it down to this form. In other words, factor it to this form, or we have a trinomial that we're going to have to factor down into this form before we can set each piece equal to 0. So that's when your factorization comes into place or come into play. I don't want to do that one yet. Hold on. Let's do this one. So here, 4x squared plus 24x equal to 0. So factor the 4x from each term. That's the GCF. That leaves you with x plus 6 in the parentheses. All right. Now you set each part equal to 0. Divide by 4. Here we'll subtract 6. And those will be your two solutions. Any problems, any problems? All right, let's see. What's another good one? Let me do that. All right, so here we have 2x squared minus 9x equal to 5. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that one side is set equal to 0. So we have that 5 on the right. We need to subtract 5 from both sides so that one side, once again, is set equal to 0. So this is our new equation. That 5 you cannot combine with the 9x or the 2x squared because they're not like terms. So you just have 2x squared minus 9x minus 5 equal to 0. Now I want to factor out the trinomial. So of course it leans on your factoring skills. Remember we said if our back sign is negative, that means our sign should be different. Looking at our factors of 2, that's 1 times 2. Factors of 5 is 1 times 5. So those are only choices. So let's go 2x and x. And I need to get 9 in the middle. So I'll put my 5 here and 1 here. So when you go back and check, 2x times x is 2x squared. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10x. This is 1x. And it's negative 5. And then when I add these two together, that'll give me negative 9 in the middle. So you always want to go back and check and make sure you're getting the correct trinomial when you factor. All right. Once you've established that you have the correct factorization, go ahead and set each part equal to 0 and then solve. Subtract 1 from both sides. Divide by 2. And then here, add 5 to both sides. Make sure we are okay. All right. Problems with that one before we look at another one. That's all this section is about. Just factoring your expression. And once you factor completely, set each part equal to 0 and then solve. All right, so here we have w cubed plus 5w squared minus 9w minus 45 equal to 0. So just a heads up, Notice our highest exponent of W is 3. So that means we should get 3 solutions in this case. Notice the ones up to this point. Highest was 2. So it gave us 2 solutions. Same thing here, 2 solutions. So here we should be getting 3 solutions. So you always watch out for that. Make sure you get the correct number of solutions. Even if you have a repeated solution, that's how many solutions you should get. So now don't forget also, when you have 4 more terms, you're going to factor by grouping. So group together the first 2 and group together the second 2. Also notice that that minus sign that's in front of the 9, I included that inside of the parentheses with that 9. You cannot separate the 2. So make sure you're careful with that. So in the first one, I factor out W squared, which leaves W plus 5 inside of the parentheses. In the second quantity, I factor out negative 9, which will leave W plus 5 in the parentheses. Make sure we're okay with that. And when it comes to factoring by grouping, what's left in the parentheses have to be exactly the same, or you cannot go to the next step. So make sure you're careful. So since we have that in common with both, we'll bring the W plus 5 to the front. That'll leave me with W squared minus 9. Because that's what was left. W squared and the minus 9 is what was left. So that's what goes in here. Now this is the difference of squares. So that means that can be factored out to be W plus 3, W minus 3. All right, so before we solve, any questions on the factorization? We factor completely. We have W plus 5, W plus 3, W minus 3. All right. So we set each piece now equal to 0. And solutions would be negative 5, negative 3, and positive 3. Those are 3 solutions. Questions? Any questions? Any questions? Make sure we're all right. All right. So, like I said, that's our last section as far as new material is concerned. If you check out, there's a Connect Math for you guys. Everything has been posted, so you have your test for each block or each folder of homework. So make sure you knock those out. Our final exam, I'll be sending you a date on that. You know, the final exam week block scheduling, so that's standard for everybody. But I'll send you guys a picture of that if you don't have it, so you have a copy of it of final exam week, and that will be proctored. So on that date, you will come to class. You will make sure your cameras are enabled. You would bring your ID, show it up to the camera, and then I will give you the password so that you can get into your final. And of course, you would leave Zoom up as you complete your test, and then once you complete it, then you're finished. Um, but yeah, so that's all. That's what we got left. Now we're just getting prepared for that. Every day from this point forward, I will just be coming at the appointed time, seeing if you guys have any questions. I will not. Once again, I see somebody in the chat, so I'll get to that in a second. I will not be covering any more new material. It will just be review, and how long we sit in class will basically be upon you guys bringing questions, and I'll be answering them. Or if you bring a topic and you say, well, there's a certain type of problem that I had issues with, can you help me with it? Then that's what the next classes will be for. Yes, student ID is preferred. If by some chance you don't have your student ID and you have an ID with a photo, then that'll fly as well. But you're supposed to bring your student ID. So, but I'll as long as you have a photo ID, we should be good to go. Yeah.
Did you
Anything?
I'm sorry, this is Deja. Did you say a date? I wasn't
No,
paying.
I said I need to look at the schedule and post a date.
Okay, thank
Let you, and I'll email you guys what that date actually is, and I'll send you an actual picture of the block scheduling for that week, just in case you don't have it. So yeah,
you. Okay.
you don't have a student ID. Oh, fail, fail. Uh, but yeah, make sure you get one at some point. um, Anything else? Anybody else before we close out today and head into the weekend? All right, cool, cool. But like I said, if you don't get it by that date, then it's good. It's all good as long as you have some type of photo ID. We'll be all right. All right. Anybody else? Everybody good? Okay. Oh, and as far as if you have to come, to classes moving forward, really the way I see it, you should come to class if you have a question. If not, I'm not gonna force you to come every day, but most definitely you got to come on exam day, right? So just make sure you're paying attention to your emails because I'm gonna shoot the email out as far as what your final exam day will be, and then from there, like I said, whatever questions you have, you come to class now. We'll knock those out. All right. So if everybody's good for today, you have a good one. Be safe. You already know what you have to do as far as Connect Math is concerned. Everything's posted. And yeah, just let me know if you have any questions. All right. You guys have a great weekend and take care.